and then at the regional and district level, they are answerable to local government.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
So how do the headquarters, in a way, report on them, or how do they have any relationship whatsoever in their workings? Do they to the headquarters which you are responsible for?
Yeah, if there are policies that are developed by the headquarters, then it can be sent to the regions for adherence. But they are responsible to the RCCs and the district assemblies. It's because of the decentralization that has made it so.
All right, so based on this information, it means that we are done with the Ministry of Works and Housing. All the rent issues, no, rent control, we've done that already. That one is a repetition. So that'll be all for the ministry.
Mr. Chairman, I want, on behalf of my minister, to thank you for the opportunity to appear before you and to assure you that we take on board the advices that you gave us and work on it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It's in court. It's in court.
Honorable Minister, we've listened to you. Thank you very much. But you know, my constituency is Ketunov. And I use the Aplau Road to my constituency. Anytime I'm passing there and I see the Seglemi projects, beautiful houses, beautiful buildings, are the fittings not deteriorating? The fittings in those in the building, are they not deteriorating?
Honorable Chair, yes, we've noticed some deterioration of some of the fittings. But
so we'll wait for all those things should deteriorate. They will come back and look for money and fix them before they are occupied.
Honorable Chair, I think government, there's a plan to deal with the Sagrame issue, and maybe in a different
to occupy it, or how? There was a time that we learned that the government want to sell them. Yeah. So what is preventing the occupation of those facilities? It's our own money. It's your tax money. It's my tax money.
We understand that it's of interest to Ghanaians, but
Yes.
I can assure you that government has a plan to deal with it.
Government is keeping too long in that plan. Government is keeping too long in that plan. The place should be occupied. It should be occupied. I drive that road, so when I see the project, I ask myself, what are we doing to ourselves?
Why don't they send the illegal squatters at the UNDP?
You see the ministry? There are squatters, they don't care. The projects are there, they don't care. That's the nature of your ministry. You are discharged. Honorable members, let's have Ministry of Roads and Highways. Ministry of Roads and Highways.
Yes, sir. Oh, sorry. Sorry, sir. Chief, please let that be. You should be off. Okay. Thank you. Sir. I,
Stephen Pambin Jalula,
swear by the Almighty God
swear by the Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue
touching the matter in issue
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
and
nothing but the truth.
nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Deputy Minister, Honorable Chief Director, the Director of Finance, and all other directors, you are welcome.
Thank you, Chairman.
You are invited because you are cited in the 2021 MDA report of the Auditor General. So we will go straight to paragraph 600 of the report, and that will be taken by Honorable Sophia.
Thank you, Chairman.
Sorry, before then, kindly introduce yourselves to the committee.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Good morning, colleagues. I'm Stephen Jalula, MP for Pro West and Deputy Roads Minister.
Honorable Chairman, I'm Abbas Mohammed Awulu, the Chief Director of the Ministry of Roads and Highways.
Honorable Chair, I'm Frank Osei Sechere, Deputy Director at the Department of Urban Roads.
Honorable Chair, I'm Eric Oforiaman, for Director of Finance, Ghana Highway Authority.
Honorable Chair, my name is Emmanuel Mamara, Director of Finance, Ministry of Roads and Highways.
Honorable Chair, I'm Dr. Frank Gamadi, Director of Audit, Ghana Highway Authority. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Honorable Sophia, you can go now.
Thank you, Chairman. Paragraph 600, unpresented payment vouchers, which amounted to 138,010. And then on paragraph 601, there's a table here that stated that the Chief Director Administration made a couple of payments and you didn't support it with the necessary documents and payment vouchers. Have you supported them now?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that has been implemented.
Auditors, please, can you confirm to us if they have supported the documents?
Yeah, Honorable Chair, the presented payment vouchers has been presented now, and we have verified them. Thank you.
That's all for them, Chairman.
Thank you very much. The next infraction is on paragraph 610, and that is Honorable Admakwe Kisi.
Thank you, Chairman. This has to do with unsupported payments. We're within the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Amount is 61,000 Ghana cedis, 731. And this is in relation to 83 payment vouchers. Do we have the appropriate documents for all 83 at the moment, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That issue too has been resolved because we have presented the relevant documents to the auditors. But may I say that we are of the opinion that this particular issue should have gone under MMDAs and not under MDAs, which the ministry is in charge of. Because though this one is Accra Metropolitan Assembly Urban Roads, it's a decentralized unit, and they report to the local assembly and not to the Minister of Roads and Highways. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Audit Service, do we have the relevant documents?
Honorable Chair, all the necessary documents have been provided.
Okay. So, Chairman, I think that will be all. We'll note that. I think the clerk would note that. Thank you very much.
So how about the feeder roads? They are also under the local government, or they are under the ministry?
No, please. Feeder roads are under the Minister of Roads and Highways.
But the urban roads are under
the assembly level.
Yes, please. The assembly level, we have urban roads that are responsible to the local authorities. Yes, but the feeder roads all over the country are under
the Ministry of Roads and
Highways.
So all these urban roads under Greater Accra, Accra Metro Office, they are all under the Assembly?
Yes, please. AMA.
AMA.
Yes, please.
But you've answered the question?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
All right. So auditors, take note that in your future reports, we should know the proper placement of these agencies so that it will help us. So your next one is paragraph 613. Which is unpresented payment vouchers. 9,820. Has it been presented? It's also under
AMA, Mr. Chairman. Yes, please. That, Mr. Chairman, that one too has been resolved, but it's still under AMA.
Okay. Auditors, has the paragraph 613 been resolved?
Honorable Chair, resolved.
Then paragraph 615, Honorable Apak.
Most grateful, Mr. Chairman. The issue at hand has to do with unremitted withholding tax. And the amount involved is 2,682 Ghana cedis. Have you now remitted the said amount?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Auditors, can you confirm that this has been done?
Honorable Chair, it's still outstanding.
You say it has been done. Auditors say it's still outstanding. Does that mean you have not provided them with the evidence?
A moment, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we have here receipts of for payment to GRA of an amount of 2,681 cedis 20 pesos. Thank you.
The amount is 2,682. Is that the same amount that you have?
6,681, 2,681 cedis, 20 pesos.
Well, it's short by 1 cedi. Well, this is public money. You should know. Even 50 pesos makes a difference. So, Mr. Chairman, the auditors have not seen the report, but the minister indicates that there is a receipt confirming that 2,681 has been paid. I leave it to your direction, Chairman. It is short by 1 cedi.
That's okay.
Although the auditors are here to confirm. The Chairman, I humbly request that the minister pays the 1 cedi outstanding.
In fact, I'm sure he can even give you 100 right now. The next one, paragraph 618, Honorable Dakwa.
Thank you, Chairman. So the issue has to do with avoidable interest payments on contracts. So your contract agreement between Accra Metropolitan Roads Department and the contractors permitted contractors to apply for interest. That's a penalty on payments that were not effected within the specified dates indicated in the contract agreement. Okay, so it seems there are 4 companies here, and the total amount comes to 1.1 million. Is it cedis? Yes, Ghana cedis. Okay, so can you tell us what circumstances led to the payment of accumulated interest? In fact, have you paid that interest, and what circumstances? Because I think the contract said if it delayed, then you pay. So something led to that delay. Can you just update us on that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Indeed, it's true that when we are contracting for projects, there are clauses in the contract that allows the ministry to pay interest on delayed payments. And as we all know, government is not always able to pay on time. Therefore, incurring this cost. As we speak now, the amount in question has been paid. As
the contracts have been
executed.
The IPCs have been paid, but
the bills have been paid, except the interest on delayed payment that has not been done yet. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay, so the 1.1 has not been paid, right? Okay, so did you
No, Mr. Chairman.
That's fine. So the auditor recommended that you carry out and investigate what circumstances led to the payment. You haven't paid, however, still certain circumstances led to the delay, right? So that investigation that was recommended by the Auditor General, has that been carried out?
Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, I don't think that we need to investigate why. Because we owe the contractors, we have presented our indebtedness to the Minister of Finance, and it's up to them to pay as and when they get the funding. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, okay, so from what you're saying, okay, you went into a contract with some companies. You signed a contract saying that if you don't deliver or you don't, there's any form of delay, okay, they are entitled to A and B and C, right? And then there was a delay. And so they requested that this is my entitlement because there's a delay, okay? And you have not paid, right? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think when contracts are entered into by the government agency, especially in this case roads, there's a 91 days within which an IPC is an interim payment certificate, when it's raised, has to be paid, beyond which the contractor is entitled to interest on delayed payment. So anytime the payment is made the contractor then calculates when was this payment due. Maybe the payment was due within 91 days. However, the payment had been made in 180 days, or the payment had been made in 360 days. So the difference between the 360 days and the 91 days, which was when the payment should have been made, the contractor then calculates the interest due. Because if I was to be paid within 91 days and you paid me in 360 days, I'm entitled to some interest. So they will normally wait till they are paid. Then they calculate from the date that they were paid, how many days was that behind schedule, and subsequently those interests, the interest is calculated subsequently. And that is what the Honorable Minister was saying. The payments have been made for the works. However, the interest payment has still not been done. But the contractor contractually is entitled to those interests. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So I think we're on the same page. They're entitled to that 1.1 million, and that is why the Auditor General raised it, okay, and said that whoever is found culpable should pay. So the issue here is the people are entitled money which should be paid. And we just want to know, has it been paid?
Honorable Chair, I think Honorable...
You said no, it has not been paid. The recommendation says the people who are found culpable should be made to pay. You have not paid. Chairman, as it stands.
Well, here it's difficult to know whether anybody at the ministry is culpable. Who delayed the payments? Is it the Ministry of Finance? So, is it the Ministry of the Finance? Ministry of Finance delayed the payments. So if anybody is found culpable, then it should be the Minister of Finance. Because he didn't release the money, he didn't make the payments. So, I'm not sure if this recommendation is something that can be enforced. Auditors, do you think that this recommendation can be enforced?
Honorable Chair, we all know the government is already embedding with financial issues.
Are you sure?
So we are saying that our actions and inactions should be embedding the state again with things that we could do within a period of time so that we can avoid some of these.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That is what
I agree with you. That is why the ministry is saying that when the certificate is raised, it is supposed to be paid within 91 days. If it is paid within 91 days, no interest component comes in. But if it is paid even 1 day after the 91 days, the contractor will calculate interest for that 1 day. Now, if the delay is over 1 month, the interest will be growing. The longer the delay, the higher the interest component. In this case, the interest accrue up to 1.1 million. The calculation was based on when the actual principal was paid or the certificates were paid. The question is the delay an inaction of the Ministry of Roads and Highway officers, or is an inaction of the Ministry of Finance? It's a thorny issue. Minister of Finance will come and tell you that taxpayers didn't pay money, so I'm unable to pay at the time it was due. So it's an issue that we can debate and debate and debate. If you said we should give you the governance of this country we have given you, do you go back and be blaming the taxpayer? So it's a debatable issue. It's a debatable issue. If we are giving you and you're unable to do it, I think that the best the taxpayer would do is to give the governance to another person to see if they can do the right thing. Is that not the case? members. So when will this money be paid? Honorable Minister.
Minister, it will be difficult for us to tell when the money will be paid.
Are the contractors whose interest amount has also been delayed again, are they computing further interest on this?
Mr. Chairman, normally we don't get those cases.
No, come again.
Yes, so normally we don't have contractors applying for interest
on interest.
Yes, please.
Oh, that they are being generous.
Mr. Chairman, may I also add that now, when we are contracting, we, instead of the 91 days before we interest is calculated on the delay payment, we are now using 82 days. 182 days.
182 days.
Yes.
That's double
6 months. Yes. Thank you.
But even that one, you are defaulting. Even that one, you are defaulting. So as we speak now, we don't know when this amount, 1.1 million, will be paid. Clerk, take note of this particular one. The Ministry of Road and Highways is unable to tell when the interest component will be paid to the contractors. Okay, let's go to paragraph 622. It's an approval of certificates of payment above contract sum, 54,000. The auditors noted that AMA awarded a contract to Nishes ENH Engineering Limited under the supervision of Accra Metro Roads Department. The agreed contract sum is 1.4 million. Now, the contractor raised 2 certificates for payment, totaling 1.4 million, which was higher than 1.489 million. The contract was 1.434 million. So the 2 certificates totaling 1.489 million was higher than the contract sum by 54,356 cedis. They provided details of that. Now, further check by the auditors showed that there were no records showing that the entity tender committee approved additional works for the revision of the contract sum. Management could not also provide any documents to explain the overpaid amount of 54,356 to the contractor. The auditors have recommended that the head of Metro Roads Department should recover the overpaid amount from Nishes ENH Engineering Limited. We want to find out if the recovery has been made.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wish to follow my earlier answer that these particular issues should have been directed to the AMA and not our ministry. Thank you.
So you don't have, even though all that we have answered earlier were supposed to go to AMA, but you answered them. This one, I'm sure you are not able to answer
this particular one we don't want to answer.
So we will have to call AMA to come and respond to this one. Let's take note, this must go to Ministry of Local Government when we meet them, I think tomorrow. Or, yeah, tomorrow. We are meeting them tomorrow. Now let's go to paragraph 603, Honorable Bauer, Department of Federal Road.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Minister, I think this one there is under your purview, so you can answer it. And it relates to paragraph 604 that a former accountant, Mr. Adam Alassane, received monies totaling 10,000 Ghana cedis for contract fund and sale of tender documents, but deposited only 4,000, leaving a balance of 6,000. And the recommendation is that the regional manager should recover the amount of 6,000 from the former accountant. I want to find out whether this money has been recovered and paid into the appropriate fund.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, what I can report is that this issue was reported to the Ghana Police Service, Legon Police Station, and I think that the police are investigating the matter. Also, I think related to that one, Mr. Chairman, is the issue of the 19,000, which were all lumped together and reported to police and YOCO. And we have a copy of the publication of the YOCO listing him as a wanted person in Ghana. Yeah. Do I have it? Mr. Chairman, the gentleman is no longer a staff of the Ministry of Roads and Highways. Mr. Chairman, I have in my hands the publication by the YOCO. Yes, it can be found on the YOCO website. I can pass it.
Is that from the website of YOCO?
Yes, please.
No publication in any of the dailies? Nobody, it's not everybody who go to YOCO's website.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'll verify. We'll verify.
Pass it on. Let everybody see the... In fact, when it gets to me, I want the camera to zoom on it. I'll do it like this so that my face doesn't show. So that is Adam Al-Hassan. If he's in the country, anybody who knows him should inform him that he's being wanted, or person should report to the nearest police station so that YOCO can go and pick him. All right, so this one covered the next infraction also, which is the amount is 19,000 under paragraph 606. So we'll move on to paragraph 625. Honorable Aka.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Your department owed 147 contractors an amount of 200.3 million Ghana cedis. And I would like to know if this amount had been settled. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, indeed it's true that we owe contractors to the tune of 200,343,692 cedis and the 2 pesos. Yes, in the eastern region. Mr. Chairman, as we do always, we report on our indebtedness to the Minister of Finance, and we wait for funding to pay. Okay, so Mr. Chairman, that is it. Thank you.
So have you been able to settle part, at least part of the amount, or not at all?
Chairman, we will check and update the committee on that one. Because the issue was that we owed so much to a number of contractors. Yes, the Minister of Finance has just done some payment recently, and we are yet to update our list of indebtedness. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Chairman, you heard him right, so it's not...
Honorable Deputy Minister, you are appearing before Public Accounts Committee. You know of this particular infraction. You are not telling the committee that you will now go back and update your records. It means that you are not prepared. Should we suspend the sitting for you to go and update and come back?
No, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, what I was just trying to say is that the payment of indebtedness is an ongoing process. It's not
that is why if you have a system to update your indebtedness, at any point in time you are called, you just retrieve it from your system. So that you know that for this region, this is the current debts outstanding. It might even end up by saying that these 200 that is reported here, the current debt will be more than the 200. Because it's an ongoing thing. As you are paying the old debt, new ones are being added because we are awarding new contracts. Do you understand the point? So you need to have a system that updates your debt at any point in time it is paid.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think you're right. Let me rephrase my earlier statement to say that as at this moment, that is the indebtedness that we owe the contractors. But I also want to make a statement that the government is paying contractors as we speak now. It could happen that even a few moments ago, some of those contractors were paid, or they will be paid as soon as maybe after this sitting. Thank you.
Okay, clerk, take note. The ministry is unable to tell us how much has been paid out of these debts. You didn't tell us whether you've been able to pay 1 cedi out of it. Let's go to paragraph 628, Honorable Ales.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The story is not different from the foregoing one. The Department of Federal Roads awarded 28 contracts amounting to 245,487,859.75. And these contracts were not completed within the specified contract period. The contracts have delayed for periods ranging between 7 months to 114 months with its contractual implications or financial implications to government. The Chief Director, you've been asked to investigate the cause of the delay, and whoever is found culpable should be liable for the cost increment. What have you done about that, Chief Director?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. An update, as the contracts run, the update is that some of the projects have been completed. And then I can list them, or we have copies of those projects that have been completed. There was 7 of them have been completed. A significant number of them have been terminated, just because the contractors could not meet the conditions of contract in terms of delivery and so on. So that list 2 on the terminated contracts have also been indicated. And then we also have about 4 or 5 of them that are still ongoing. Means that the contractors are working, and then some extension of times have been given. So one, yes, those projects are ongoing. A certain number of them, I think about 6 of them, have been completed. 12 of them have been terminated, and currently...
Mr. Chief Director,
yes,
like you are saying, do you have a document to that effect indicating those that have been completed, those that have been terminated, and those that are ongoing, and the amounts paid so far? Can you furnish the committee with those documents?
Honorable Chair, I can indicate projects, the status of each project as at now, in terms of those that have been completed, in terms of those that have been terminated, and in terms of those that are ongoing. But the latter part of the question, as to the status of payment or not payment, that we can finish. But in the main question was the completion of the project. And I can indicate that, 1, bridge construction of 20-meter and 40-meter span steel bridges over River Osiem Akura Brim in the eastern region. The contractor was Horinsa. The contract sum was 8.1 million. Project has been completed. We have the rehabilitation of Akosu, Subrisu, Ntronan Road. Contract sum was 2.1 million. The contract has been completed.
Chief Director,
yes,
kindly provide that document to the clerk, to the committee.
All right. Thank you,
yes.
sir.
In addition to that, you were advised to prioritize the delayed projects before awarding new ones. Have you been doing that?
Yes, in terms of prioritization, yes. Because if there is a contract in a municipality or in a district, you try as much as possible to make sure that those ones that are ongoing are completed. If they are not, you terminate and then re-award. And basically that's why some of the projects have been terminated. And then the processes for re-award then kicks in.
Auditors, are the stories true?
Honorable Chair, we don't have any information or documents to that effect. So maybe we are here to be giving those informations. Thank you.
Honorable Apak.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, my interest is with regards to the terminated contracts. Do you have specific reasons why those contracts were terminated? And is the reason across board?
Honorable Chair, reasons for termination varies from contract to contract, though sometimes they might be general. One is non-performance by the contractor. Some contractors are giving work, they do the clearing, and from clearing, they leave the abandoned site. So if you abandon site, the contract conditions indicates that the resident engineer should give you some warning letters. After a certain period, the contract is recommended for termination. That could be one. contracts can also be terminated per the conditions of contract by the contractor himself. If the contractor feels that there are certain excluding conditions that does not make him or her perform, the contractor can write to the employer based on the condition of contract and say that I'm terminating the contract at my pleasure. So there are various contractual conditions that will emanate into termination, but paramount mostly will be non-performance.
Are you sure? Because I know in my constituency, for example, most of the contracts that have been terminated and are being re-awarded, or which have been terminated, is as a result of lack of payment of certificates. Is it not the case that this is also a very prominent reason why most contracts have been terminated, because the contractors haven't done some work and failing to get paid for the work done are no longer able to continue?
Mr. Chairman, I do not have the specific case that the Honorable is talking about. But the bottom line is that if a contractor works and he's not paid under the conditions of contract, the contractor can serve notice to suspend and go through a process and suspend work. That is allowed. So because once the employer does not pay you within a certain period, the contractor is entitled to interest on delayed payment. So the contractor cannot ask for two things at the same time. You terminate at your own will and ask for interest on delayed payment. So the contract allows, if for some reason the employer is not observing the conditions of contract and you are still interested in the contract, you suspend. But you go through a process of suspending. Once you suspend, all the other conditions of contract applies to that specific contract, and so on and so forth. But if you leave the contract at abeyance, simply because the employer has not paid you, the employer can enforce the contractual conditions, and one of it is to terminate at the pleasure of the employer. So basically, it's a contract, and at each point of the way, each contracting party should then read the contract properly and see what compensatory events that they have with their contract so that they can follow upon that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman. I will leave it here, but I will furnish you with specifics as far as my constituency is concerned.
Mr. Chief Director, the response from the audit service seems to suggest that they are not privy to the information you have provided to the committee.
Mr. Chair, this information was part of our attachment that we did serve. Maybe specifically to them, maybe we can still forward that. But these are part of attachment that we did serve to the Auditor General as part of our audit responses and so on and so forth. So maybe specifically they don't have it. We can always serve them with copies and indicate the status. And we have external auditors auditing us now. We can always visit those sites to confirm the status that we had indicated. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, concluded.
Let's move to paragraph 631. Honorable Kofi Adams.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Deputy Minister, you're welcome. I'm sure this one you will be able to do justice to it because you are responsible for those regions, including mine. Thank you. This to do with delayed projects in the Upper West region, specifically your office in Wa. In 2019 and 2020, you awarded 51 contracts, which totaled, in terms of money, 5,890,591 Ghana cedi. But all these contracts were found to be behind completion schedule, and warning letters have been written to the contractors about delays. You are to take steps to make sure that the contract terms are enforced. I want to find out what you have done in relation to these 51 contracts. Which of them have been completed and what actions have been taken? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, 51 contracts were awarded in 2019-2020. Mr. Chairman, I can report that out of the 51, 23 have been completed and 28 have been abandoned. And these are routine maintenance contracts that we awarded in the Upper West region. Thank you.
28 abandoned, 23 completed. Any reasons for the abandonment of these 28, which is more than 50%? That means more than 50% of the contracts have been abandoned.
Mr. Chairman, as earlier said or indicated by my Chief Director, there are reasons why a contractor will leave site. And one thing we noticed is that the classification of companies as road contractors was an issue. So in 2020-22, my boss set up a committee to come out with a new recommendations on how to reclassify all the road contractors in the country so that we can weed out mushroom companies and one-man contractors, those who don't really have the capacity to be in the road sector. So since 2022, that is what we've been doing, and we hope that by the new ways of reclassifying the companies, we will not have companies coming in to win projects and then abandon them later on. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, like Mr. Park said earlier, I equally have similar situation, and you are aware that you and I have had conversation with situations like that, even in our part of the region and my constituency specifically, where the abandonment was as a result of non-payment. And specifically, Mr. Chairman, it's a major road that connects one municipality to another district. And per the policy that you have, that at least there should be a good road that connects one municipality to another. Such abandonment, I believe that the ministry should be particularly interested in, and to make sure that is done. You know, Upper West is also a major food basket when it comes to maize supply and then the rest in the Sisala areas and what have you. So if you have 28 of such projects abandoned, so what are you doing? Let me summarize it. What are you doing to get either new contractors or same back on these abandoned 28 contracts?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I said earlier on, Mr. Chairman, these were routine maintenance projects. That means that yearly we do them. So if a contractor is unable to perform, we take them out, and the following year is re-awarded to a different person.
So it means like other contractors have gone on the same road and worked on them now as we speak. So it's not like since 2019, 2020, we haven't done anything on such road. Do I take your answer that they've abandoned, and since it's 2021 audit, in 2022, something was done on those routes?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that's positive, because even those that were worked on, I'm sure that they have deteriorated again, and we will do another, we send other contractors on the same road again. So it's routine every year. we have to work on the roads to make them more trouble, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'll take note of this, your answer. Later on, I will find out why it's not happening in my constituency. Later on, I'll find out why it's not
Mr. Chairman, the honorable member is talking about the trunk road that links bigger communities or municipalities, and that is not routine. We'll chat later.
Auditors, can you confirm the information provided?
Honorable, we are here to be given that information.
So maybe you get your regional and district people to do some follow-up. Mr. Chairman, that should be all for them on this.
Paragraph 634, Honorable Aziz.
Thank you, Chairman. The issue has to do with indebtedness of the department to contractors. 28 contractors were given some jobs in 2020, and payments were made, but it was left with 444,000 plus. I would like to find out if this has been cleared. Department of Federal Roads were
Mr. Chairman, we have implemented that issue partly because some payments have been made, but we still have an outstanding amount to pay up. Thank you.
How much payment have you made from the 444,298 Ghana cedis? How much?
Mr. Chairman, we have paid about 2.9, and we have an outstanding amount of 444,000.
Minister, that's not the issue. The recommendation was that you awarded a contract totaling 3.3 million, and you made payment of 2.9, leaving a balance of 444,000 plus. So the recommendation is that you should ensure you pay the balance. So I'm asking, from this 444,000, how much are you been able to pay?
Yes.
Honorable Chair, I think there was maybe a slight, the details are that the contracts were awarded to the tune of 2.9 billion. The work certified to date was a 2.4 billion. Outstanding amounts in the various contracts total the 400 and something thousand. It didn't translate to works done. So technically, you cannot say that it's an indebtedness to us. So a contract is awarded, a certain amount of work is done. There's still money in the contract. That money in the contract, until works are done, does not translate.
Thank you, Chief Director.
And basically,
can the auditors explain to us why this recommendation? The auditors, can you explain why you made this recommendation, listening to what the Chief Director is saying?
It's only one question.
Honorable Chair, if you look at the information that we put out there, I think we'll go with what the Chief Director has explained, because the contract that was awarded was 3.3 million, and an amount of 2.9 was paid out of it, leaving a balance of 444. So we are here to confirm whether that aspect of the contract was executed, which for which they have to pay the 444, 298.
Mr. Auditor, it means that this is a wrong recommendation. Yes, Chairman, I yield to you. Thank you.
But Chief Director, So, by inference, these are abandoned works by the contractors. Is that the case? Or has it been completed?
These are works that have been certified.
Yes.
So if the contractor executes works, those works are certified. But it doesn't mean that if the contract sum has been exhausted. So technically it means that there's still a bit of money left in the contract that some additional works can be made. But if the works have been completed and then you didn't complete the expenditure that was expected to be made, it stands as works not yet done.
Well, probably maybe I was playing into the technical bit, but let me come to my understanding. What is the status of those roads now, as we speak?
Status I will have to check, but the point is that these are works that have been certified, and the works that have been certified is information that we have. But the question was that there was additional money that had not yet been paid. We're just drawing the attention that it might not necessarily be additional money. It's just that it's money still in the contracts that have not yet been spent, as it were. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Director. I think that your explanation is worth it. So, according to the auditors, the total contract sum is 3.3 million. Auditors are saying that 2.9 million has been paid, which means that, per your explanation, 2.9 million was certified and paid. According to the auditors, they assume that the contract sum of 3.3 million was certified. That is, per what they have written here, was certified and 2.9 million was paid, and for that matter, 444,000 still remain outstanding. But your explanation means that the contract sum is 3.3 million, all right, but the 2.9 million which was certified has been paid. The 444,000 might mean that work was not done, no certificate has been issued for that. Is that the case? So what is the status of that now? 2020, yes, we are now in 2023. Yes, sir. Has that portion which has not been certified now?
Mr. Chair, I will share this. For instance, periodic maintenance, there's a periodic maintenance of Ho Poly Japo Road, which was to be undertaken, I think it's regraveling, by Mrs. Ifasco.
No, we are dealing with different region now, not...
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
We are not in Ho. We'll come to Ho, don't worry.
Okay, the whole one is here.
No, Upper West is
okay.
That one, that's what we gave
out. Okay, the Upper West we've given.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Okay, but the contract sums are not here. Okay. Yes, again, the contract sums are not here, but just we'll furnish the Secretariat with the hard copies. What it means that works have been executed to the amount that maybe a contract was given at 1 million. I don't have the details, Mr. Chair. But works executed for the completion of that project was 900,000. So there's 100,000 that is still technically available in the contract. And is this total that has been seen as, so we have not yet paid for that. But basically it means that it has not been certified. And because it has not been certified, it cannot be paid for.
Yes, I agree with you. But I want to know, because this is 2020, as of December 2020, that portion of 444 has not been certified. As we speak now, in 2023, has that portion been worked on and certified?
Mr. Chairman, I will have to get that information, sir.
Don't you have the regional director for Feeder Road from WA?
No.
Don't we have him here?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
We should have brought them.
Okay, sir.
All the regions affected, I should have brought them. The regional director. It means that the regional director in Ho is also not here.
No, sir.
Gregory.
Gregory is not here, sir.
You even know his name. Because the whole one is a serious matter. So provide the information on the Upper West one,
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair.
if that portion has been certified or not. Okay, next one, paragraph 637, Honorable Yusuf.
Chairman, thank you. So from Upper West Federal, Department of Federal Roads to Volta Region, Department of Federal Roads, specifically who. And the infraction here has to do with delayed projects. 22 contracts were awarded amounting to 487,578,158.82 Ghana cedis. And the work scheduled was supposed to be completed between 2013 and 2019. But as we speak, about 22 of these contracts at the time that the audits did their work hadn't been completed. What is the status of these projects?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, yes, 22 contracts were awarded between, awarded and they were supposed to have been completed by 2013 and 2019. But as we speak now, 7 have been completed, and these projects total 120,521,841 cedis. And as the Honorable rightly said, 22 are outstanding. And the Chairman, we have the updated data on those projects for your perusal.
Let me find out how many have been completed, how many ongoing, and how many have you terminated?
Mr. Chairman, as I said, the list is here. 7 have been completed. And we also indicated the status of the others. Some have been, 3 have been terminated, and others have stalled. And I think 12 have stalled.
When you say 12 have stalled, what are we talking about? What exactly are you referring to?
Mr. Chairman, it simply means that the contractor is not on site.
And so what action are you taking?
Mr. Chairman, normally warnings are sent and eventually the contract is
Deputy Minister, have you done that? Have you sent the warning letters to them?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, you are on the process of terminating them. Is that not the case?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Those that have not been terminated.
Let me find out from you. Those that you have terminated, have you re-awarded them?
Mr. Chairman, no. We will need a budget to be able to re-award those projects. Thank you.
Auditors, can you confirm this?
Honorable Chair, per the status that we have, none of them is completed. Apart from construction of 70 M-span steel bridge, number VR/B02 on the Garosota Bomingo feeder route, which is 98 completed, none. That is the status that we have as at now.
Minister, how do you reconcile this?
Yes, Mr. Honorable Chairman, as I indicated earlier on, this is a current update on those projects, and we have a copy for the committee.
So then you have to update the auditors, give them the current status of it so that they can. So, Chairman, that's the status of it. Some have been terminated, some are ongoing, and some are stalled, and they are in the process of terminating them. And they also said that those that have been terminated, they're still looking for money to re-award them. Let me find out whether you have considered this under this current budget, or you're going to put them in the next budget, because you shouldn't just leave them out like that.
Mr. Chairman, we are unable to give that specific information here. We will consult our regional managers of the Federal Roads Department and get back to the committee on that. Thank you.
Chairman, if you are okay, I'm okay.
Honorable Deputy Minister,
Chairman.
your demeanor alone shows something. Your demeanor shows something. It's telling a message. Included in those 22 projects, you have the list. Do you have Ahi, Joja, Agbozuma, Town Road? Which is,
can you mention the name again?
Ahi is spelled E-H-I. Do you have it there? Which also includes Germany.
Peki is not number 7, honorable member. Store. Where is it? Okay.
You have it there.
Ehi Doje and Ehi Town Roads.
Yes.
Agbozomi.
Yes.
Ehi and Tudome. Tok Palim.
Tokpalime.
Tokpalim. Oh, Palime.
Yeah.
Germany.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. It was awarded to GS International Development Limited.
Yeah.
And it is one of the projects that have stalled, Mr. Chairman.
What is the reason for the contract being stalled? What is the reason?
Mr. Chair, the contractor has left site.
It is not true.
Oh.
Chief Director, it is not true.
Oh, okay. But the project has stalled.
The contractor, when the contract was awarded in 2016, contractor has worked with speed. In 2017, he was asked to stop work. He stopped work. He prepared his first certificates up to date. Certificate had not been honored. 7 years. The certificate has not been honored. Last year, we persuaded him and he came back to site. Strangely, Department Environmental EPA from Ho came to seize his equipment that he didn't obtain permission or permits to go and cut gravel from a different area to site. I was shocked. Then a contractor who is working on project for us, he issued a certificate, he was not paid. He came back to site and he was arrested for not obtaining permit, and for that matter, his equipment was seized by the EPA. So the contractor got angry And when the equipment were released to him, he packed his things and left site. I reported this to the minister. Up to date, the project has stalled because of this. So it cannot be that the contractor left site. I'm giving this information openly. In fact, the people of Ketunov, Ehi, Joje, they are listening to what I'm saying now. Please, let's do something about it.
Mr. Chair, we'll do something about it. But the environmental protection laws of the country, before you win gravel from any place, you are bound to have permits. And I think that this particular contractor is a very experienced contractor. And he does know that you need those permits. And so, yes, doing the road is critical, but obtaining the permit is paramount before he can do anything. Because by the time he finishes, because EPA will want to know how he intends to reinstate the borrow pits when he leaves the site and so on. If he doesn't obtain a permit, the potential that after winning the gravel, he will leave those pits is extremely high. So we'll work on it. We'll get him and the EPA, but make sure that he obtains the necessary permits so that he can get back to site. Mr. Chair.
Chairman, I also want to find out in terms of payments, the contract sum here is 67 million, and the certified sum is 21. 37% were complete. I want to find out whether he was paid.
I think that if I borrow from Honorable Chair, my understanding is that he has not yet been paid. But though he hasn't been paid...
No, don't borrow from me. Because my information is that he has not been paid. But you have the facts.
Okay. Honorable Chair, I will check on that fact. But I do know that GS International, anytime his certificates are paid, he regularly puts in interest on delayed payments, if he is entitled to any. So, but I'll check on whether he has been paid or not. But I was just making the point that GS International is a very experienced contractor, and he normally will go for permits before he goes to any borrow pit to take out gravel material. So I'm a bit surprised that in this particular instance, they didn't do that. We'll check. It's our responsibility to facilitate, discuss with EPA, and make sure he gets the necessary permits so he can get back to site as quickly as possible.
Director, you are saying that this didn't come to your notice. He has abandoned the site, work is not going on, and you are not aware of the reasons why he abandoned the site?
Regional directors will know. Like the chairman did say, maybe next time we'll have to bring the regional directors here. They will know the details, because they are the operational people on the ground. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
There is another road in Ketunov. In fact, it passes through my village. The name of the contract is Agove Junction to Devego and Tajewu Town Roads. I'm not sure if it's part of this. The Agove Junction to Devego. It was also awarded in 2016. The contractor is Sar and Sarad. Sar and Sarad. And they've done the prime seal in September 2016. And they're supposed to come back by maybe February, March 2017. Since then, no work was going on. Now the road has deteriorated badly again.
Chairman, to add to what you say, I have this Sar and Sarad Limited, and it's supposed to be Tazewu.
That is it. Town roads.
Yes. So.
Yeah, that's the project.
So it's part of it.
That's the project.
It's part of it. 80% were complete.
Yes, because they've done the prime seal.
Yeah.
But the road has gone bad because 7 years it's gone bad. What are you going to do about that road too?
Mr. Chair, we'll take the necessary step. Once you indicated primer seal per our conditions is what it is, primer. It's just to retire dust and cover up the base material. And invariably within 2 months or maximum 3 months, another layer of bitumen, which is called the fair seal, should be applied. Once that is not done, the road will deteriorate. So the regional director will have to reassess the volume of work or the quantum of work that will have to be done. They will have to scarify, maybe rebase the road again and build up from where the deterioration started.
So we'll leave that one to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Honorable Roxon.
Kofi, you've asked Jessica and Rose already. Chairman, thank you. Chairman, the problem with the road project Chairman spoke about is that it's such a complex contract. My portion is the Todome to Parliament to Germany, 21.8 kilometers. That one, the contractor hasn't been back since 2017. Now, the problem for me is that I have spent all these years since coming to office doing rehabilitation every year. But it's gotten to a stage where I can no longer grade the road because small boulders have emerged on the road. I've scraped all the gravel surface. All the laterite is gone. So in large sections, we can no longer grade it. So I've been praying for your intervention, but it's not happening. Meanwhile, the information is under contract. The contract is in abeyance. So what do we do? That's my problem. What do we do? Do we decouple it from the Tajevu one, or we keep it the way it is? Like, sorry, the Jujeki one. Do we decouple it, or we maintain it and re-award it, and get the contractor to come and deal with? Because I honestly can no longer rehabilitate. I can no longer grade it. And so it's a problem for me. The other issue I have in Southern is that you have awarded Peve to Peveton where the Ghana water pumping station is 3.3 kilometers. Anum Peki Jacket to Anum 5 kilometers. It is. Then Chibu to Chate, 5 kilometers. Then the rest, the same project. I'm trying to explain the project. The same project, 3.3 kilometers, is at the Clipper, that is the regional minister's hometown. One contract, 15.5 kilometers, to B-Rock. It was awarded sometime in 2017 or 18. He began work very well, but non-payment has also forced him out. But I don't see him featuring in the outstanding projects or delayed projects that have been captured by the auditors. Bureau contractors. So if you can take that two up for me, I'll be very grateful. Especially because the road to where the Ghana water pumps water is so terrible, and you know how important water matters are. I thank you, Chairman.
So, Honorable Minister, I kindly take all these things on board. I'll take the last one from Honorable Kofi Adams.
Thank you very much. Well, this is about routes, not in Buim constituency. This is to do with Fodome to Hohwe route. Fodome to Hohwe route. And I'm just reading the update, and it says the contractor is on site. The last time a contractor ever worked on that section of the route was somewhere 2020. Somewhere 2020, the early part of it, because that's the route I use regularly to my constituency. It's when you get to Golokwati, you have to divert and take right, go through Fodome to Hohwe, because at least it's better than going straight. The last time ever. I want to find out, because what you are doing, if you say 44% complete, that contractor is on site, there's no contractor on site as far as the Fodome to Hohwe section is concerned. There's no contractor on site. The same way we saw a report, even in the budget, this was not Auditor General's report though, that Hohwe to Dodo Pepesu is 100% complete. As we speak now, between Central Kofi and Hohwe is in a terrible state. So number 16, item 16, I just saw it and I thought that I should draw your attention.
Mr. Chair, actually what we have here, Hohwe Fodome, is part of the project that have been stalled. So I don't know, maybe we might be reading from separate this thing. No, number 13, under the project that have been stalled, Hohwe Fodome, Joe Azar Company Limited, project has stalled. And I do remember that this is one of the projects that the Honorable Minister himself did call the contractor to try to get back, because the contractor indicated that he has materials on site. He had chippings, he had bitumen that he can go back to site. And then he was waiting for some instructions. But here it stands stalled. So I don't know whether it's the same road that you are referring to, Honorable Chair.
Same. So if it's stalled, then and the minister has called the contractor, then you must find out why. The same with the Central Kofi to Hohwe also. It's stalled. Why? The contractor has a lot of material, but then maybe payments is not being delivered in time.
Some instructions have been given to the Department of Federal Roads to ensure that the contractor goes back. It wasn't the issue of payment. There was some issue of some technical question of stabilizing the base instead of just using gravel. The contractor suggests that given the nature of the gravel material there, he wasn't getting G80. So it meant that he had to use chippings and stabilize the base. Maybe 60-40 ratio so that he can put in the primer seal. And basically that was a technical issue that had been sorted out. That is on the Hohwe Fodome.
Director, let me see. That route, the primer sealing you are talking about was done, and in 2020 they tried putting some first bitumen. So we had gone past what you are talking about, unless you are saying what he did was not right. So he's been asked to go back and do another primer seal again, because they've crossed that, and then first bitumen was done in 2020, but it's become so bad, terrible.
That's, Mr. Chair, that's the point that we're making. The issue is that the road is in a terrible condition. I do undermine, if I do recollect, the question was that the base that was used for the primer seal should have been stabilized. That was it, because if you use, because you weren't getting the G80 is a gravel of a certain strength. If you don't meet it and you compact, you don't get close to 100. Once you lose that percentage and you put in the primer seal, the road